At this particular point, Ben, I can't believe I have 45 years in massage. 45 years. I put 21 years in the graphic arts before I got to the 45 years.
Right.
So there's a kind of a hangover. All my lectures are illustrated graphically, because
Sure.
of what I did. And I'm happy to say that I'm still functioning, still doing pretty good. I've got some aging problems, as they say. My balance is not quite the same.
Yeah.
Stamina is not quite the same. And I can hear it in my voice that every now and then I get tight. Hey, listen, 87 ain't bad.
87's
I
okay.
outlived my father and I outlived my mother so far.
Who was the oldest brother? Was it Charlie?
Charlie,
Charlie
he
made
made
it
it to
through.
95.
Yeah.
He proved that we could still do it. In fact, I was on the phone with my brother Sid this morning. Sid is 92,
Is he?
and my sweetheart in there is 93. Would you believe it?
How's Sid doing?
Sid has his days, but basically he's all right.
Yeah.
He's still up and around, and I'm totally fascinated by this aging process. I want to tell you something, Ben. I can understand why older person will get angry. I know why they're angry. I'm now part of it. I'm angry because it seemed to have snuck up very quickly. That's number one. But I was told about that years ago. All of a sudden you'll find that you aged. Okay. Number two, I don't mind getting older, providing I don't have to conform to the so-called elements and essential ailments that come with it, if you know what I mean. I don't have to be sick. I don't need to be sick, you know what I mean?
Right, sure.
Why can't I just be old and not worry about it? And there are a small percentage, well, let me put it this way. The percentile or the percentage of old people in this country right now is about 6% of the population. Now, that's not a lot.
What's old? What's the cutoff?
About 85 and over. 85 to 90, 95, etc. That's the real old population. It's about 6% of the population, roughly. And of that 6%, there's about 2% that's quite sick, that's quite ill.
Right.
Now, when you do what I do, when you surround yourself with these old people, even though they're my peer group now, you feel that if you're old, you're sick. If you're sick, you're probably old, which is not necessarily so.
So it's all in your head.
It's all in your head. When I see elderly people, men and women, mostly women, the women still outlive us by a good 12 to 20 years. I'm not saying that with any envy, I'm just making statements. Those who are not sick, who don't suffer with unusual business of stroke or dementia or any of that particular item, they're just old people, and they fascinate me. Lonnie has a gardener who comes here, and we were introduced to his grandmother and his grandaunt. It's two sisters. The grandmother is 101 and a half. No cane. I think she wears glasses for reading. She still moves around. She still gets around. She still does her own cooking. She's dressed immaculately. A charming elderly lady. And her kid sister, who's 96, is the same way. Now, these are, I won't say unusual. Well, maybe they are. But they are representative of our senior class,
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of people around, Ben, who are 93, 96, 98. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Those who are sick are really sick.
Right.
There seems to be, statistically speaking, if you get past 80 reasonably well, and if you do have some ailments, chances are those ailments will stay with you for the rest of your days. They don't get any worse. They don't get better. When you look at some of the medical charts of some of my patients, I'll give you an idea. For example, this Italian lady, she's 85. She has all the so-called probabilities of her age, right? She's 85, right? She takes Tylenol, and she takes this, and she takes that for this, for her high blood pressure, and for her varicosity, and for something else. She's got about 9, 10, 11, 12 different medications. The doctor, when he prescribes, has to check all of them. He has to be a chemist.
Right, of course.
He has to
Yeah,
really
that's
know,
right.
if I give her enough of this, I don't want to counteract that.
Unfortunately, not many do.
But the good ones do.
The good ones have, yeah,
They
sure
really
they do, yeah.
They are really sharp.
Yeah,
But what I'm getting at is that they don't get any worse. They stay on this plateau, and then all of a sudden something happens. They
Cool.
fall, they get pneumonia, they get something, and then they're gone.
I like the quick idea.
The quick
Personally
idea is a
speaking.
good idea. Not too many of them go to sleep and don't get up.
Right.
My maternal grandmother did that, my mother's mother. She was in the house. She was visiting us for the weekend. And my mother said to her, "Why don't you go take a nap for a while?" It was a Saturday afternoon. And Grandma lay down in the bedroom. And then Mama said to me, "Go get Bubby. You know, tell her dinner's ready." I went to get Bubby. Bubby was sleeping. She's still sleeping. She went to sleep, I think it was 1940. Yeah. That was it. The big joke of it is, Ben, she was a typical woman. One time I said to her, "Bubby," I said, "how old are you?" I was fascinated. I was about 16 at the time. And I was watching this little feisty little lady. And she moved around like there was no tomorrow, you know. And I said, "How old are you?" And she says to me, 89. And my mother's behind her, and she's going like this. She's saying for the last 5 years she's been 89. But when she died, Ben, on her stone, she has Pearl Kristoff, aged 89. She got her way. She took it with her.
Strong-willed.
My mother was a typical example, too. When she turned 80, she let the whole world know she was 80. When she was 84, don't tell anybody.
Right.
But she made it to 85. My dad died of a severe stroke when he was 69. So we had this fluctuating, circumstance. My brother Joe died, believe it or not, Ben. He was a guy, rock solid. He didn't smoke, he didn't drink. He was a plumber. And he was muscular and powerful. He was a wonderful man, rough cut, typical of his time. Public school educated, didn't go beyond that. Very powerful man, but he had a heart that was 30 years older than he was. He died at age 60, cardiac arrest, just like that. So you say to yourself, that powerful, wonderful man, 60? So, you say, where's the balance? My dad is 69, but he smoked himself to death. I mean, he had a stroke
was
that took
healthy
him
then,
right
though.
out. Yeah.